Okay, this is my Whelen analog controller. I've said before, or I didn't. I've told some people that I was gonna plan on doing a video of how I sound off my Whelen cabinet, and I kind of felt, you know what, now would be a good time. So, before we get started, I'd like to show you how this is set up. This uses two 12-volt Marine Deep Cycle batteries. Two of them makes it 24 volts. So you can clearly see I got one of these things right here. This is something that you can attach and detach, but as you can clearly see, the negative that you see hooked up right there, there's two wires. The white one is for the positive, so we kind of had to have a different wire right here to bypass or to kind of connect to this one here. So so it goes like this. Positive goes on the first battery and the negative goes on the second battery, and then you use two of this one wire that I got wrapped around here, basically just like how you do it. That's how you hook up a Whelen cabinet. There's a cord right there that I got plugged into a wall. That this is I think this is supposed to be the power for the cabinet. It supposedly is meant to charge the batteries, but I don't think my charger works. So I'd use a separate battery charger that actually works a lot better. These are the amplifiers. This one here is the only one that still works, because when I hook up a driver, this is where you hook the drivers up, right in there. And just to kind of give it a little, that's kind of how they look like. I'm not exactly sure what these are for, but I'm not going to mess with those. But the motherboard is up there, and I want to show you something first. Something. This right here. This is what you would plug into right here if you wanted to have the rotator rotate. So, but because if you just want to sound off just the cabinet only, you know, there's a way that ex-YouTube user EL1998 P71 showed me that you kind of have to wire something like this. And you know, I guess it's a way to kind of bypass the signals to where, you know, you could just sound it off without the need for a rotator. So that's kind of how you do it, is like that. And of course, if you want it to rotate, you just plug this in, you know. But then again, you have to. I'll show you right over here. This cord. Sorry about that. Hang on a sec. Yeah, I kind of got it stuck there, but there's a cord that I have wrapped around here that this is actually plugged for the, yeah, I just got it stuck in there, but that's okay. I got it all covered up with wire tape, but this is for use of the, that's for use of the rotator. That's where it hooks onto. So, that's where you hook onto the rotator wire, and there's another wire that you may have seen wrapped around my siren head that's only meant for the drivers. Now, I'm going to show you something really quick. Just give me a sec here. Okay, so continuing on, what I have right here, this is the plug that plugs into the drivers. This is kind of how it's laid out. As you clearly see, this is how it came as. So I'm assuming this is how all Whelen 3000s or any other Whelens that use the speaker, that how it's hooked up to the speaker driver. So it's kind of in this kind of pattern, which is kind of weird, but you can kind of see that's how they do it. And the way you do it is you plug it in like this right here, and you know, of course, there's two of these per amplifier. So this right here can sound off two speaker drivers, okay? Two speaker drivers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So because there's 4 amplifiers, and because you could sound off 4 drivers per amplifier, you know, with 2 of these, that'll make it like that to 16, you know. Now, because not all my drivers work, it's impossible for me to do full 16 drivers. And because, like I stated before in my when I sounded off my siren last, I believe this is the only amplifier that apparently is still working, but for some reason, only 3 drivers work on this, than 4. I'm not exactly sure why. And I never really bothered to take this apart. I've actually kind of already done too much taking apart up there, because back then, way back then, I've kind of was having some problems with this. And I think I kind of stripped too much of this apart. Another part I'll show you on the other side. There's supposed to be a cover right here that's supposed to cover this, and it has the name of the signals, but I took that apart too, and because I don't know how to get it back in there or put it back in there, I kind of just, you know, I said screw it. So, but you know, this is kind of it kind of comes in handy when there's a gap right here, so you could pull it up, because when you close it, you know, it kind of closes down like this. But I'm gonna have it open right now. I believe this right here is, I think, supposed to be for the voice capability, but the wire's missing, or kind of chewed off or whatever. But this is just to kind of show you just a little bit a better example of what it looks like. Yeah. Now I'm gonna let me unplug this, because I'm not gonna run any drivers right now. But now I'm going to show you how to turn this on. Right now I got this plugged into the wall, so there's power attached to it, but the cabinet's not on, because if you take a look right there, that orange switch right there, that's the master safety switch, okay? So you got to turn that knob to the on position, and when you do, right over here, what will happen is the DC emperors will go up to maybe about here or something, and then about a second later, the DC volts, as long as that's plugged in, it'll go all the way to here. When that happens, that's a good thing, okay? That means the cabinet's on, and you're ready to sound off, so I'll give you an example of that. You can hear that click sound, but that's how you do it. So you just turn that switch to the on position, and it's kind of convenient how Whelen has that, because on the Federal Signal controllers, they don't have this, you know. And that's kind of stupid, because, you know, when you hook up your batteries, you know, when you hook up the last terminal on a Federal Signal battery, you'll see it spark, because the cabinet's always on, regardless. But this one right here, it's got the safety function, which, you know, you can turn the cabinet on or off. But now that when you got these needles pointing at to where you want it to be, or where it's supposed to be, you'll know the cabinet's on. And I'm gonna do a little signal run here. Now, as I stated, what I'd like to quote first is these 2 amplifiers right here. I think these 2 is the high note terminal, while these 2 is the low tone terminal. Now, when the siren was in service, with all of these amplifiers working, this thing was all set on single tone. Now, I'll show you how that is. If we take a look right here, there's some dip switches that had to be switched to a certain position in order to make it so that you sounded at dual tone. So, thanks to EL1998P71 for showing that. He showed me what kind of switches you had to switch to get it to set to dual tone. And I think there's like little chip things right here, those blue things, that you kind of have to switch, but you could just leave it like that. Because this one right here, on this motherboard right here, if you leave that in, it'll be dual tone, but if you pull this out like this, all of it becomes single tone. So, you know, I'll give an example, like, I'm going to go ahead and do a signal run here, so, do whale. So that's the, I think this is the only one that you're hearing from, but when you pull this out, you know, that's how you can kind of change it from single tone to dual tone and such like that. Right now, the whole thing is single tone, but this is how it sounded like. So you do it like that, and then if you want to put it back to dual tone, you do this. So now it's the high note that you're hearing. Kind of hard to do with my fingers, but you know. So that's kind of how this is kind of how you program it to be dual tone. Is like you gotta have these dip switches like this, and you know that's how you make it so it's programmed dual tone. But you know, this is where this is all I can really do right now. But you know, I can always have it run the Emerson way by just simply pulling that out. You know, that blue thing. All the other stuff in here, I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to be, but these are probably like the sound cards or something like that. The sound sounds like it's coming somewhere over here. Maybe from this amplifier, but you know, it's kind of how it works. So, turn that off. So, anyways, this is kind of like how you sound off. This is how I sound off my siren. And as you've seen before, when I hook up my drivers, give me one sec here. These two wires right here, you can kind of see how it's like, you know, I'm just kind of pulling it so you can see which one's which. But these two, you know, for example, if I wanted to hook up to this driver, I usually, like I said, I face the driver facing like this to muffle the sound. It's not really recommended to do that because it may not be healthy for the driver, but as I stated about, you know, to reduce loud sound disturbance, it's better if I do have it like that. You know, that's what I prefer. Although I do, when you have it up like this, which is better for it, it also sounds a lot better too. But you know, that's kind of how you hook up the driver. So you kind of you just put it in one of these terminals right here, like that, and you know, just wrap the wire around it. But the way how these terminals are laid out, or if you take a better look, right over here, this is designed in a way to where it actually plugs in. Now, because these were cut off when West Shore Services uninstalled the siren, you know, I kind of had to strip these. I had to strip the cover on these wires to get them exposed enough to connect to the terminals so I could sound off a driver. So, but that's kind of how, you know, that's basically how I do it like that. And let's see. I think that's about all I want to say for the cabinet. I'm going to show you. I'll show you my siren head right now. Okay, I had to take the cover off so I could show you the back. This is these are the plugs I was just talking about that hook up to the drivers, and this is where the drivers are inserted. And you know, this is kind of like what the back looks like. You know, it's in a staggered pattern. And this is, you know, this is where you'll see, like right here, this is where the speaker driver wires are. They go through inside the rotator box, all through here. You can kind of see how it's like. There's two different wires right here. This big one that I have that's wrapped around here, as you can clearly see, is what was cut off when West Shore Service took the thing off. But this is like this is what all connected to here. Or actually, no, I'm sorry. This connected to the plug that I showed you that hooks up to my driver right here. This is actually what it was where it was connected to. It was connected to the plugs in my controller, which was round all the way, you know, on top of the utility pole like that. And because I got it wrapped around my horn, I don't have to cause any drag, but it goes right in here. And so with my driver, it basically screws in like this, for example. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but okay, so there we go. So you can clearly see as I got it, you twist it like this because it screws in. Alright, that's screwed in all the way, just like that. So this is just an example of what it's like when a speaker driver is attached to the horn. You know, that's how the sound comes out. Because I'll plugged into these drivers that's hooked up to the amplifier inside the controller, as I showed you earlier. And this is let's see here. Like, we get this right here. We plug this in like this. Sorry about that. I haven't plugged this in a while, so it's been a little while. But you kind of just it kind of goes like this. I don't know why this. Oh, there we go. So you know that's how the drivers are hooked up to the siren head. You know this. I got this kind of on the back side of my garage right now. This is kind of where I store it. But I don't really feel like having to move this big beast. It's it's kind of a pain in the rump, and the batteries, my siren batteries for the controllers those are heavy too. So yeah, but this is kind of how they hook up the drivers, is like that. So yeah, you get the idea. But that's how speaker drivers are hooked up to the siren head, and that's pretty tough. That's why I don't usually like doing this a lot, but I kind of wanted to show you guys how this is done. But that's what a speaker driver looks like on the back of a Whelen 3000. That's it's screwed in like that, and then you can also unscrew it. But you kind of have to be careful because this drivers are pretty heavy. So you unscrew it like this, and yeah, that's how you take a driver out of the siren head of a 3000. I'm sure the same thing would work on a Whelen Vortex or a 4000, but of course because they use 400 watt speaker drivers while this uses 100 watt, well, that's just kind of how it is. The small wire right here, this is the one that's hooked up to the rotator. It's got different colors, but if I was to wire these together to my cabinet that I got taped up right now, if I was to wire all this up and then plug in that plug inside the cabinet while this is attached, then the siren head should rotate. I haven't bothered to rotate it. It's been a while since I've done that, but I don't really feel like having to move this thing just to do a demonstration. And because I've already made a demonstration about that a while back, I just don't see why there's any reason to put another one. But this is the cover for the back. This is I got some screws right here, or they're like bolts, should I say. I'm not sure what happened to all the other bolts that I had, but technically you only need like 4 bolts on here that you screw in. So I got you got these nuts right here, and the bolts. As long as it fits through like this, just like this kind, that's all that matters. But this tarp right here, this is my MC controller that I got covered. There's a shower curtain underneath this cart to give it better protection, because with this tarp, water was kind of seeping through it. The cabinet still works, which is a good thing, but because it's all steel, I want to keep this covered, and because I don't feel like having to lean this up against the fence right here, I just want to have this, kind of on a cart. But yeah, this is it's a good resting platform. But yeah, that's kind of that's how it goes with my Whelen siren head here. I believe I just about covered everything, but what I usually do is I kind of have this, like, this is kind of how it's like, you know, for the driver wires. I just have it, I kind of just put it up there just to kind of have it inside when I screw this back on, so that way I can have this thing covered. But I just wanted to show you what the inside looks like. I haven't bothered to take apart a speaker driver, but maybe someday I'll do that. I don't really feel like doing that right now, but you know, this is kind of I just wanted to share you all what it's like to sound off my siren. And I got this this cart had to be custom made when my father used to work at a clean air supplier place. They had to weld this cart together and he took measurements to have this thing sat in, and use the big carriage bolt nuts to keep this thing from tipping over. It's not very well effective, but it still works and it does roll. But I'm not gonna feel like moving it right now because I don't really have any need to use this. But you know, this is a good thing to keep as a nice, good collector's item, and it's a nice historic kind of a piece of equipment, and it's what I grew up hearing, and it's a good thing my controller still works, but I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to be able to get a new amplifier, because Whelen told me they don't make any more amplifiers for the kind I got, but we'll see. Even if my controller becomes a bust, like if the whole thing just doesn't work anymore, period, I don't intend on replacing it, because I don't want to replace my Whelen siren. You know, this is my siren I grew up hearing as a kid, you know, all the way up to 2008. So yeah, this is my that's why I bought this siren, so I could save it from either being scrapped or never seen again. But yeah, this is how you hook the drivers up back here. And I believe I just about covered everything. Yeah, I guess that's it. So I just want to thank you all for watching. Whoops, I forgot to show you one last thing. This is what the back side of what the battery charger looks like. Let me see if I can get a better close up here. This is just to kind of show you what the inside looks like. This outlet right here with the switch, I'm not exactly sure what that's supposed to be for, but you know, that's kind of a, you can see those two wires that connects to the battery, runs up through here, that goes into the you know, the power system. But this is just to kind of show you this cord right here. This is what you know, connects into here, which is I think it's supposed to be meant for the rotator. You know, so this is kind of like the rotator box part right here. I got a lot of things unscrewed there, so I'm kind of, you know, because I'm not exactly sure how to put the stuff back together, and I'm kind of a little lazy to do it right now. But at least, you know, I'm just going to keep it the way it is. But, you know, let's go ahead and close this. You know, that's kind of how it is. I got this unplugged already. And another thing, I'll make this one the last one. This piece of paper right here was actually inside here when I first opened up my cabinet for the first time. Let me pull this out. It comes in this little envelope or plastic wrap thing that keeps the paper safe, which I'm very glad they did. But just to kind of give you see what it says, this is a little information here. Looks like the date, April of 1988. I'm not exactly sure if that means that's when the siren was installed or service, but I mean that says a test sheet, so yeah, maybe this is maybe perhaps that was when it was you know, it was installed sometime maybe in 1988. So yeah, that's kind of, you know, that's kind of how I found out about my cabinet being an 80s controller. And yeah, it's about everything else and such like that. Alright, I think that's about everything. Okay, now that should be all. Thank you all for watching.